I'm going to be pulling a message for the collective surrounding the Venus transits, particularly focusing on Venus moving from Capricorn, which happened closer to the end of the January month, like right around the end of the full moon Leo. So we went from Capricorn in Venus to Aquarius in Venus. So we really kicked off honestly, it really helped to set the tone for the Aquarius season, because with that placement at the end of the month in January, that left us with Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So there's a lot of planetary placements in very pivotal areas, especially particularly Jupiter and Saturn being in Aquarius. That's going to make it very dominant for us to look at what is going on between the relationship for what we desire and what it is that's creating that resistance to what we desire. Okay, message. You aren't like this. Okay. Okay, we're gonna leave those to the side. Those will just be overall message themes. Looks like we have gut instincts and the heart chakra coming out. I would expect as much, considering how the Venus placement and just all of the values, because Venus isn't just about love, but it's also about where we place our values and how we move through the subconscious. It's not so much logically based, more so than heart or subconscious based. So the two decks I'll be using, I'm working with the Chakra Insight Oracle as well as the Manera Oracle as well, because I definitely want to channel through spirit more of the Tantra messages, more of the love walk messages, and just how the couplings and intimacy is flowing through our heart sectors, through our projected fields, as well as within ourselves. Important to also set the tone as well. I think it's important to look at how we got to this point. Like, we're looking at Venus and Aquarius during this season right now, but really we need to look at the kickoff of the things that led up to it, because I want to bring attention to Venus in Capricorn, not Venus in Capricorn, but Venus in Sagittarius, which I want to say Venus entered Sagittarius late last year, like in December, and moved out of Sagittarius into Capricorn around like the first week of January, around like January 7th and 8th. When Venus was in Sagittarius, like Sagittarius is very optimistic, very romantic, so there's a lot of taking chances. So near the end of the year, especially with all this that happened, you might have saw things where it was a lot of strain on couples. You know, the COVID and just the lockdown and the pandemic put a lot of strain on long-term relationships. A lot of relationships that had been going on for many years, 5 years strong, whatnot, had seen tensions or broken up or seen that breakdown. And it was really hard for people to get what it is that they desired. So getting closer to the end of the year with the Venus moving into Sagittarius, we started feeling this optimism. Maybe I can start something new, because this was also around the time of the winter solstice. So we were at our darkest point. So the only thing that can happen, obviously evidenced by the winter solstice, is being able to move forward. It can't get any darker. It's only forward movement from here. So with that Venus and Sagittarius placement as well, syncing up around the time of the solstice and just all the other events going on, we start feeling optimistic, wanting to take chances, not be held down, to see what new sights and new horizons that we could cast for ourselves, how our relationships were giving us life and just making us feel as if we could take a chance. And that's very fitting energy as we led into, like I said, we moved into the Venus in Sagittarius and moved into Capricorn around the first week of January, the new year in 2021. Capricorn and Venus tends to be a little bit more serious. Capricorns don't really deal a lot with playing around with their love. Karmically, and a lot of Capricorns have to deal with either they want to pursue career goals or pursue their love walk. And usually a lot of times Capricorns have to decide, depending on their walk or their life, if they're going to pursue which one first. They usually find that a lot of Capricorns that pursue their careers first tend to be set in their ambitions but may feel lonely at the top, whereas sometimes when Capricorns pursue their love walk first, they may feel as if they're dependent, or they feel as if they have to take time to do one or the other. It never feels as if the two go hand in hand. So a lot of times for Capricorns, their love walk can be very lonely, or can be taken very serious, and that's because you come off as boring until you find people who value, or that you feel that your investment will be valued. So you don't like to show your heart because that's very important to you. So when Capricorn, or Venus is in Capricorn, we tend to take love more serious. We're not just playing around with our love. It's like, you move my emotions. So what is this relationship serious? What is this doing for me? Is this relationship a good investment of my emotional energy? Capricorn is usually thinking about those things, and usually when you move a Capricorn's emotional heart, they want your heart, your soul, everything about you, and they take all matters very serious. When it comes to that, once you actually do get a Capricorn's heart to open up to you and connect with you, they take all those matters very serious. So during this time, or during the time of the early January, moving into really all of January up until the last month, up until the full moon, we took those chances, from the Sagittarius energy that kind of kick-started us. And now it's like, okay, now that I'm here, what am I getting from these dynamics? What am I getting from these relationships? I put this energy in, I'm putting in my time, energy, I'm showing my adoration. Is this relationship giving me solidarity? What foundation? Is this worth anything? So these were the thoughts that were going on, and now we were questioning, okay, what is the value? What can I get back from this relationship? And is it worth continuing to cultivate? So those things going on, love serious Capricorn, moving into the eccentric and radical Aquarius. The very interesting feelings, because during this month where we might have been reconciling essentially what these people mean in our lives, what our relationships mean in our lives, are we just allowing codependency natures to coincide, or are we do we have strong codependency issues that are toxic? Is this person uplifting me? Are they draining me? Just all of that stuff. Can I see myself in the long term? And as we move literally into the Venus in Aquarius, we start thinking about these long-term things. This is why the fact that Venus naturally flow from Capricorn to Venus, just like how the signs move, shows that, okay, Capricorn looks at usage and Aquarius looks at long-term longevity of that same usage, so to speak. So with that being said, as we move from Venus in Capricorn to Venus in Aquarius, especially marking this time when we're moving into Valentine's and things of that nature, you may be noticing that, like Aquarius, they do their own thing, and they may have come out with something, invented something, or come out with a fashion that's ahead of its time. So Aquarius by nature, while it does love to mingle and connect, it will jump in and out of different circles as long as it's conducive to what it is that they're trying to do. So emotional manipulations and the hang-ups of hyperconformity don't hold as much weight for, say, other signs in the zodiac. After all, they're the 11th house. So 11 is going to do what's good beyond self. They're not going to be hung up on self. They're going to be hung up on priority of the collective or being altruistic. So during this time, you may be doing things that are bigger than you, or doing things that aren't concerned about what others think. So you'll notice that when Aquarius is in Venus, that you may be drawn more to people who are eccentric or radical, or willing to not just follow the trended cookie cutter line. You might be noticing yourself drawn to people who might have come off weird to you before or quirky, but now you're like, something about that uncanniness is appealing to me. My own uncanniness and my own radical independence is also appealing to me as well. You might be finding that when moving through this particular season, that maybe your traditional Valentine's might have just been, typical chocolates and just going out, but you may find that you're looking for something a little bit different during this time. And don't be surprised if you're surprised by something out of the norm. These things may even radically change your view, because these elements, especially with the Mercury retrograde being a factor, that was around the time of the full moon Leo, with all the dramatic feelings and sensations bubbling to the surface like fucking Kundalini energy, that there's all of these feelings being released. You may have even felt that ritual or that activation during the full moon and wondered where all these feelings came from, but that's because age of Aquarius, Aquarius season, Venus in Aquarius, we're trying to get light, and the only way you can get light is to drop off emotional weight, to drop off obligations, to see where it is that you are. When we think of Aquarius, we think of healthy logic, not logic that trumps the heart, but logic that allows a space for unconditional love. Aquarius is a catalyst, a sign for unconditional love, because in order to do things beyond yourself, you have to be able to see the part of you or the benefit of you in another person. That requires some type of either emotional attachment on one end or strong empathy. Either polar opposite ends allow you to connect or have a sense of compersion for things on beyond yourself. So outside of that, I kind of wanted to just set the tempo. We moved through Venus in Sagittarius to Venus in Capricorn to Venus in Aquarius, which has been going on in this season right now. So I want to look at the trending harmonies between Venus in Capricorn and Venus in Aquarius, so that we can really understand what's taking place, what's shaping up for us right now, and what it is that we're feeling. Venus in Capricorn, Venus in Aquarius, feeling a lot of energy on these, and obviously with the themes jumping out with the heart chakra and gut instincts, that is very evidence in and of itself. Well, I'm not going to dive into that yet, but that's very evidence in and of itself, just with the heart being the seat of the moon and as well as Venus. Venus and moon and your moon placement harmonize or communicate, and the harmony between your Venus sign and your moon sign plays a big factor in the communication of how you process the things that come to you and the sensations that you experience, which is why you see gut instincts. So there's a lot of stimulation and communication between the heart and the solar plexus or the Manipura. So we see the elements of intuition, knowing, senses, or sensing, and trust. Trusting in the heart, trusting in self. Okay. Okay, so we have Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn, and Venus in Aquarius. So with the Capricorn, we're obviously dealing with, like I said, we're dealing with the themes of family or the root chakra, which is why you see the red element here. We're dealing with our connectedness. So when Venus entered Capricorn, we were dealing with, what am I getting out of this relationship? Do I belong here, or am I simply in a group? Am I a part of a group or an in crowd that I actually don't fit in? Am I getting benefits from this tribe? What is the culture that I'm embracing and downloading into my DNA? Because as we deposit, the quality of love we take into our heart chakra also imprints us. So if you come from a family where you get all this love, but that love is occult or cultish, or let's say that love is very possessive, you may feel a very strong heart need and heart desire, but you also know that you just accept, whether you're actually consciously thinking on this thing or not, that your love, the quality of your love that you get from your family dynamics and your relationship dynamics comes with these traits, and they can't be separated. So then you take that same energy into all the other dynamics of your life. So the love aspect of the heart chakra is very important, because we have to see if we're filtering out what it is that's coming to us. So I want to elaborate on Venus and Capricorn, because like I said, we see the themes of family, we see the themes of intimacy with Aquarius, and as we look at that bridge between the transits, so we have the themes of family resonating at the root chakra. So root chakra being our grounding, looking at what we physically have gotten from the situation. How is the state of our body? What is the state of what this connection is creating for me in the physical? So we have the themes, just elaborating more as we were experiencing the Venus in Capricorn season, coming off of Venus in Sagittarius. And it was kind of like, okay, I'm off my high, Sagittarius high. Now I'm coming off of the romanticism, Queen of Fire. Queen is always an inner, or an energy, or an inner knowing, not externally projected. So feeling that security, feeling wholeness. You know, you may be in a relationship, but do you feel alone? Has the pleasure and intimacy died out? If the Queen of Fire is there, this is asking you to represent or to reflect on, do you feel that warmth, or do you feel insecure? Are you feeling confident, or do you feel as if something is missing? Thing about the Queen of Fire is this is also someone that has so much heat, so much creative force, so much security. Security is a very warm feeling. When we feel alone, we feel abandoned, we feel this coldness. So this security is resonating within the heart, and it's coming from deep within. And it's also asking you to hold in. You may be holding in what it is that you truly seek, because it's a very valuable thing. This energy is looking to get out. And we see the element of the King of Water, which is a very disappointing, or just in this instance, is a very deep feeling, the one that you may not even be expressing, but is holding of great importance to you. Sometimes this happens because things are moving so fast that we have to make sure that what we say we want is actually what we're getting. It's the equivalent of going to a car dealership, and we're trying to make sure that we don't divulge too much. We may feel as if we tell the dealer, like, hey, I like Jeeps, you might feel like, why all of a sudden every Jeep you're just showing me $10,000 more? Like, is it just this much because I put it out there that this is what I like and this is being used to manipulate me? Or am I actually getting what I want? Did I release this information and these feelings and this energy at the right time? Or am I feeling disappointed because I feel like what I'm getting is not representing Three of Wands? It's not representing what it is that I asked for. Did I jump the gun? Was I too impulsive? Because one person's naked, the other one's still dressed. So that means that somebody wasn't ready for the situation. And this is the element of fire. So we may even be dealing with the fact that what's being illuminated is moving too fast, because this energy, Aries, this energy may be needing to go somewhere. This energy may actually maybe even be you. It may be the perception. It's a good chance it could be the perception, or that the people involved may think that you're moving too fast, because regardless, this isn't about right and wrong, more so than the understanding of what is. And clearly, regardless of the situation, somebody is not as ready as the other person is. So this may even look as with unreciprocated feelings. One person feeling one person feeling more strongly than another. So you may be asking for family and tribe in a place where you're the only one putting the energy in. You're the only one giving out the output, and the other person is looking and wondering like, well, hey, what's going on? So this may be a need for you to ask questions within your family dynamic. Are we all family? Are we all on the same page? Are we all contributing to this community? Or is this just a one-sided relationship? So that's a lot of what Capricorn was bringing out. Is this a one-sided relationship? Am I getting the benefits? Or are my instincts telling me to trust what I'm feeling within my body and to honor what it is that's resonating within my heart sector? So as we move through Capricorn, these questions are coming up, and you're trying to address whether or not these things are real for you. Are you close enough to these goals, or is this just a pipe dream? Am I being sold something that I was led to believe is something else that is not? So we have Venus in Aquarius, and we're dealing with the themes of intimacy and relationships. This is resonating at the Sacral Chakra. The Sacral Chakra is going to govern our sexuality, our intimacy, our ability to manifest our sexual energy, and secretly on a deeper, more intrinsic end, on our more deeper gifts, the ability to manifest something from nothing. Our creative force, our sexual Shakti energy, and our transformative, there we go, transformative power resides here. How we connect intimately with ourselves, or how we feel about intimacy, affects how we intimately connect with others. And intimacy is all types. It's not just sex. Intimacy is being around somebody who's not you. Being in a friendship. How do you get intimate? What is your personal boundaries? What do you trade to get what you want? If you have a poor sacral chakra, then you're going to have a poor ability negotiating sexually and in business, because you give up energy. You might give up too much energy to get very little. You know, you might have issues with low sacral depletion and be very susceptible to codependency or manipulation, in which you know that you're getting the bad end of the stick, but you just accept it because you think this is all that you can get. The sacral chakra resides over our freedoms or feeling our ability to accept or liberate or what we can get with our energy in a situation. So it's that relationship with ourselves, people, everything that you want to connect with that's not you, that's external or an extension of you, that you would like a part of you. So with the sacral chakra being here and we're seeing these intimacy, we're dealing with the season. This is the message from spirit resonating over Venus and Aquarius. So we have the themes that are coinciding or enhancing this, dealing with the Tower, dealing with justice, very major arcana themes, heavy major arcana themes, and the fact that we're moving from a Capricorn to Venus in Aquarius is showing that the questions were asked during that January month or during that season, but the movement or the really shifting and getting things going, it was after those seeds were planted. The Venus in Capricorn may have planted the seeds, but the Venus in Aquarius is saying, fuck it, let's get this shit moving. Let's take off this shackle and get moving. We have the Tower, which is definitely speaking to challenges and resistance. This could even be speaking to simply doing an act or going about something with a very materialistic or one-dimensional way of looking at things, because the Tower is very physical. It could be simply just doing it because you want to accomplish it more so than taking a more intrinsic or deeper truth about the matter. You may not be seeing why there's blocks or resistances because the Tower is a heavy defense. It's a heavy wall. So there's also, you could be dealing with seeking answers, especially with the questions that were asked. And where there's a Tower, and the Tower representing overlaying the relationships, also can be reflecting that there's a thick wall in between the relationship, and you may not be seeing why the relationship is one thing, but there's really an illusion. You're really only seeing half of what's going on. Justice being truth, regardless of the emotional intent. This is also speaking to Aquarius during this time, during the season, because there's a healthy emotional detachment that is required to have a clear vision or to feel the energy that is passing through you and being processed without the filter of preamble or the buildup that is put on the situation to kind of create that, rose-colored glasses sensation. Justice being here is asking you, especially with it being coinciding with the Tower, is asking you to look at the facts and the data for what they are. Usually when the Tower is there, that means that it's taking something very forceful and serious, almost like lightning or some element that is being misused or used towards you to change your situation, to help you see truth, or to break down a foundation that's been erected. That just because it's a strong wall doesn't mean it necessarily needs to be there. You know, everything is built with affordability doesn't mean that it's supposed to be there. There might be a wall of defense that's actually hindering you from getting where you want to go, but you just accepted it because it's this monolithic thing that's just been there, and you're like, well, since I ran into this must be necessary to be here. But you're not asking yourself the deeper questions, which is why we see the Eight of Wands here. Eight of Wands being one, what are you going to do with this fucking energy? With this particular tantric wisdom insight overlaying with it, this is also very self-personal or self-gratifying energy. So with the Aquarius and Venus, is also asking you to look at any resistances, walls, and energy, and to be using it to accomplish what it is that you are desiring. This is even also a call to listen to what's being communicated to you during this time so that you can take swift action. We have a very masculine symbols here and communication. And the fire is asking you to either create or destroy that which will give you peace or happiness. With the Venus in Aquarius also during this time, you're going to have an easier time with the momentum already stacked to do something that you had never thought you would ever see yourself doing. There's all types of thoughts going on in your head that have only been a fantasy for you. There are thoughts that are going on in your head that you would like to manifest as a reality. There's thoughts in your head that you thought could only exist in your head, and that could actually be bigger than the space within, and you can actually move out into the world around you. Don't be surprised at uncanny or what's the word I'm looking for? Uncanny or unrealized or just really huge unexpected surprises, both during Valentine's and while we're moving through this Venus in Aquarius season. Don't be surprised if we're still noticing that you either do things for yourself or you admit that what you like is what it is. Too many of you, especially with the Venus in Capricorn, were not coming to terms with these sensations. You were feeling like, whoa, like I don't like that shit. Or you just weren't, you were using your logical mind to downplay the things that you were feeling within your intuition. You were downplaying what was coming up from the heart, and you were using your logical mind to deny what it is that you know is gut instinct, that you know is truly what it is. This isn't the first time that you felt these sensations, you felt these feelings, which is why there's some erraticism now, because the only reason you jump on something so quickly is because you are coming back to something that you don't want to miss again, that you don't want to lose again. So it's like, I'm not about to let that happen. I'm going to jump on it, and the situations and or the people are looking at you like, whoa, what's good? What's going on? You good over there? So understand that during this Aquarius season that the intensity of what you're experiencing right now and this passion is not wrong. It's just passion. It's just healthy passion. And you haven't felt this in a while. You've been doing so much for everything outside of you that you haven't felt the feeling of just you. There's only you in this picture, and you know exactly what you like. So it is time to honor that. You're going to be finding with the Venus and Aquarius season that you're going to be honoring exactly what you like. Your people are going to be honoring exactly what you like, because you're going to be more focused on satisfying yourself. And remember, once you satisfy yourself, then the world mirrors you around you. So you're going to actually be getting, just by going off against the grain, going off against the status quo, and honoring that energy authentically, you're going to receive that which you truly want for your own personal self. And those that truly value you are also going to honor that energy for your personal self as well. And you're going to notice that everybody is looking in, all the energies is congregating and solidifying to a fixed point to make your pleasures a reality. The pleasures that you seeded in the Capricorn Venus season that you only thought were just seeding into fruition, and in a long-term way. Ashe. Much love and many blessings. I hope that this has been very informative for you and has opened your spirit up to resonate with your heart sectors and your Venus placements. Not to mention those Lilith placements, if you know what your Lilith is. But during this time, take that divine breath and ask yourself, in what ways are you honoring self, and in what ways are you getting past obstacles and bringing awareness to yourself to get past walls that deny you from the pleasures that you feel have been ingrained or imprinted that you can't get for yourself. Much love and many blessings, and Ashe.